health is physical wealth.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Tina Phillips. This is the Erudition Network. This episode is the Adroit Living session on the Erudition Network. And today is October 23rd, 2023. I'm going to give people time to get in. I wanted to make sure that I give people time to get in because I know sometimes we have technical difficulties and, sometimes we're like, oh, no, the internet, or we have to do something else, or, anything. A lot of things happen where we're like, oh, no, got to make sure, we get everything situated. Let me see if I can. I don't know. Let me see if I can put something out there. I wanted to make sure I wanted to tag somebody really quickly because I don't know if they were paying attention. So life happens, life, and I understand. That's what they say. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I tag that person. I don't want to show it on the screen, but I want to make sure I tag someone. Okay, so this is the Erudition Network, where we have a whole lot of different perspectives, and we like to get everybody in on it. We have different generations come on Wednesday, and we have today, which is the mental health and physical wealth episode, and then Thursdays we have Eddie, who talks about history and ties a whole lot of things together, and we all have interactive episodes where we'll talk about different things. Hey, Will, speaking of different things, today I want to make sure that Will he's one of my very, very good brothers. I grew up with him in elementary school and since elementary school, and I wanted to make sure he comes in on this and chimes in. So on the Adroit Living session, I like to volunteer this time to interact online free of charge to provide a holistic guided perspective towards mental health and physical wealth. My messages link subjective and objective perspectives via science and faith to aid well-rounded knowledge, which addresses the holistic human towards a more positive, mental health trend. I would like for it to, be a more positive mental health trend. You see, science is the method humans use to tangibly make sense of things, and faith is the innate part of humanity which compels people to discern and understand, to be creative and compassionate and behave as spontaneously as they do. The subjective perspective is opinion-based. That's your opinion and my opinion. And then there's the objective perspective, which is fact-based, which is like factors of fact, like such as evidence of God and the factual evidence of your feelings that God exists. What you said, finally right. All right, that's what's up. We got it. So I want to talk about some of the things that Will and I talk about because Will said that he would come and talk about these things. So if we could get Will a link, if he's ready to come on, or if he wants to stay in comments, he could stay in comments. But I appreciate all the feedback and the comments. But most importantly, I appreciate the attention to my unique approach to mental health being physical wealth. It could be extremely difficult to help people with mental health, but we all pray God give it to us because God fills the gaps. Sometimes these topics can be a little tricky to encode. That means to learn it and apply it accordingly. So I encourage everyone to watch my videos until the end. I've also challenged viewers to watch each episode at least 3 times because I have something different in there for everyone, and watching it 3 times to help you have a different perspective on what I presented because, like I said, the topics are rather tricky. For example, Will, he is one of the guys who have experienced a lot of things in life, and those things that we experience, we go through in life, it could be really challenging to maintain your mental strength as well as your physical strength. So it's vital that we talk about mental health because we can see how it's really impacting the global society. not just in safety, but in finances. And if we're like not shopping because we're afraid to shop, whether it's because of the pandemic or it's because, we feel like it's dangerous to go shopping because people are out here and mentally imbalanced, and they're directing their frustrations out on innocent bystanders and people who are around. We need to be able to, just fix that, because I know, right? We can't go shopping and spend money if we're sitting in the house afraid to move. We're not throwing Super Bowl parties. We're not throwing football parties that lead up to the Super Bowl. We're not doing that because we're stuck in this mental state that it's illogical for me to go and do something that will put me in jeopardy unnecessarily. For example, when I was in Chicago, I heard a young lady testimonial that she said she was trying to shop for the food for a banquet so that everybody can get together and do a celebration. And in the meantime of her shopping, someone came into the store and held everybody hostage because they with a gun, because they had something going on. It's not really clear exactly what, but we know that that's not the mental state of the general public. But there's a few who it is the point. You do all your shopping online now, Will? Will, do you want a link so you can get in here? Teddy, can you send Will a link? Go from my page and give him a link to get in here from my Facebook page. So a lot of times we are all saying, oh, well, we don't know what dictates the market. That's what a lot of executives and board members and, the people who have the ability to make that change, they're like, well, we're not going online. Why would we do that? Why would we put our businesses online? And it's not affecting our bottom line. It's not affecting our dollar. It's not affecting our stocks. Our stocks are still selling at the same rate. It's not affecting our profits and gains, and we don't have losses and gains away. But if you think about it, they had to increase the amount of money that they were. Okay, sure. Okay, so Teddy, let's get him. Eddie, let's get him. So they increased the amount of money that you pay in the stores for the products that you see on the shelves to cover things like, when people steal, when people come in the store and they break the products, various things. But what they didn't understand is if they provided the online shopping option sooner, then they would have seen their profit margins rise more than what they had seen, even with them making up for the losses with increasing the prices of their products. They were seeing well over 1,000% return on a lot of the merchandise that they sell. So they probably figured, oh, it's not really worth it because, A, we're still profiting by leaps and bounds. But the objective is in business is to understand the market and what's pushing the market, what's driving the market. And right now, what's driving the market is, like Will said, we're shopping online, mainly because it's for our health. We were competitive shoppers long before there was a real need for being a competitive shopper. And it's like they want to, the executives and business executives, those people who are making the plans, like industrial organizational psychologists such as myself, we want to understand what it is that people are feeling, what is driving you, what is motivating you. And a lot of times people thought, oh, well, let's go on Facebook and other social medias and see what the people are saying. But it was on my it was the really big ones up there, but I'll take this until you get that. But let's get them on so we can see. Can you plug this in here? So what we I don't know if you're getting ready, Will, but I'm getting ready. Let me go ahead and send you this link because the guys are having some difficulties getting you the link. So bear with me. for just a moment. Um, so, uh, in us trying to figure it out and trying to listen to the voice of the people, they felt like they were chiming into the people and tapping into the people, but it's really not where it is. And I'm not going to give it away for free, but I'm going to just present the problem here for free because this is what the social media does. So, Will, I sent you a link in Messenger. So grab that link. Um, and let's talk about it. You said you shop online. Let's talk about it. A lot of people are shopping online. I know even before it became extremely necessary to shop online, I was shopping online for convenience because I was multitasking. I'm in places where I don't have the ability to, um, you know, just do anything and everything I want to do whenever I have the time to do it because sometimes I'm stuck in traffic. And if somebody else is driving, guess what I can do? I can shop. I can multitask. I can be in a meeting and nobody will know that, I'm in a meeting. So, yeah, it's a lot of different reasons why. Okay, maybe that was it. I think you pushed the button accidentally when you were going. Okay. Hey, yeah.
What's up? What's up? What's up, friend?
Hey, you said you don't shop online. I mean, you don't shop in person. You shop online. Uh, okay. Thank you, Regina. I really appreciate that feedback. You said you don't shop in person. You mostly shop online, and I totally understand. When did it happen? Did you mostly start shopping online before or after the pandemic? And what triggered it?
Nah, mostly after the pandemic. It's really dangerous. They were just talking about in Walgreens. They had a shootout in Walgreens like 2 days ago, and this was on the north side. You know what I mean? Where technically, safer.
The north side of Chicago. Let's make the audience has no idea.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I totally understand. It's supposed to be a lot safer on the north side of Chicago and also in the suburbs of Chicago. But I don't know. I don't know. It seems like more and more we're learning that mental health is a really big problem. What do you think it was that triggered the shooting? Was it a known to you or no?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something I kind of saw on the news, and I
Oh.
don't really, yeah, I don't really watch the news like that because it's too much negativity. I don't want to enter my spirit.
Yes, I totally understand. I've heard a lot of people say that, especially in our generation. The people don't want to watch the mainstream media. The mainstream media has been a lot of talk about Israel and the wars and rumors of wars that's going on over there. They're not really talking about what's going on here and the topics that we want to hear about, like, company small business loans and student loans and they're not really talking about the things we really want to hear about. What would you rather they talk about?
I'd rather they talk about some real issues that's right here on my home front.
Like what?
Just about uh mainly you said mental health, because there's a lot going on out here. People need help. You know, people are going through a lot of things, and they don't know how to process this stuff.
Hmm.
You know, hey, PTSD is real. It's just not in the battlefield. PTSD is real. Just living in the inner city.
Yes, it is. And that's crazy because it's like you have to like actually say that as opposed to it being a common understanding. But explain, why do you feel like that? Why is it?
I don't know, because the youth is lost here. The youth is lost, man. They don't have no guidance, and they don't want any guidance. Here I am, 46 years old, and the youth to tell me that I don't know nothing. When you try to tell them something, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You got that old thinking. And I'm like, man, oh, okay. I ain't get to be 46 for nothing, man. I done been, I done been through the trenches. I done been through a lot of the things that y'all been through, trying to get through where y'all trying to go. So,
Yeah, and one of the signs that I've noticed in the that exhibits a lot of mental problems are rising, as opposed to drifting off or hitting only a particular class. I've noticed that it's not just a lot of people who can't afford housing that are having the mental problems. It's a lot of people who are right next door to us in these nice suburbs or in these nice north side places where we work, or in these elite positions that are exhibiting they're struggling mentally. Have you noticed that?
mhm. I mean, it's touching all forms of life. It's touching every, from the rich to the poor it's touching everybody. It's not just touching just one sector of people.
Yeah, a lot of times people thought that it was exclusive to those who could not afford to find medical professionals who can help them with their mental status. It's not just exclusive to them. Have you seen anybody who has like owners of businesses who have struggled with mental?
So what? Hold on.
No problem. Now, Will is a barber. He is a really great barber, and he has a lot of clients. So I'm happy he's making the time for us today. And the way he cuts and styles people's hair is just awesome. He does advertise some of that on his Facebook page. So if you get a moment to check him out, check him out. But the reason I wanted to talk to Will is because just like at a bar, the barber is the person who is counseling the people that he sees every day, and he sees different people throughout walks of life and class. So it's not just exclusive to those people who can afford a haircut. It's all the people who need a haircut,
Yeah,
and
man.
they're
Hey,
counselors.
I wear many hats behind this shit.
Yes, you have counselors seeing counselors, and you do wear many hats because I imagine you have a lot of stories that come through that chair.
Man, they talk about everything and anything you can think about.
Have you noticed any of more of your clients speaking more towards the things that are trying to protect their mental health on their own, or are they seeking professional help?
None of them know. None of them really know where to start. You know what I mean? So it's like me, as in, it's like I've taken on as my responsibility to provide that kind of influence on anybody that gets in my chair.
Well, that's a really valid point, and I like how Virginia said it and back and supported what you're saying. It is affecting a lot of people in all walks of life, and like you said, I've heard so many people say they don't even know where to start, and when people don't know where to start to get help, they try to do things on their own, and it may not be the best decisions. Now, Will, I know you say you counsel a lot of people that come in your chair, but have you yourself thought about, looking into how you can improve the counseling that you provide your customers
All the time.
all the time? That's what's up.
All the time, because I want to provide the best experience I can for all my clients, not just for a great haircut, but for the mental capacity as well.
And see,
Because
that's important.
it's
Yeah.
very needed.
It is. It's very much needed. And it's like everybody who services the public, they should have access to at least know where they can get fed as well. You have to have somebody that's pouring into you so that you can continue to pour into your clients, because like you said, it is really necessary, but they don't know where to start, where to get the help from. And a lot of times the bartender, the barber, when everybody come in the barber shop and they're talking, like you see on these movies, they come in there and they're talking about everything that's anything, like Eddie Murphy. He had a show where everybody's sitting in the barbershop talking about real life issues that's actually helping their mental health.
A lot of times people don't know that they need it.
Hmm.
They
That's
don't know
true.
that they don't know that they need it until they start talking, and you start offering, solutions to their, or advice to, whatever may be able to assist them in whatever the problem is.
Yeah, and Regina said we've seen and heard so many unbelievable acts in the media. You don't know who or what to believe, and I've heard that from many different people, from white, black, and from all cultures. They say they don't know what to believe until they have somebody that's associated or affiliated in those situations. Like it's really hard to believe a young lady is sitting there shopping for food for a banquet, and someone comes in, and now it's a gunman comes and everybody has to shut down and she's still shopping for food. That's hard to believe, that that's happening, but it seems that it's become such commonplace that that's the norm, and we just have to keep living through it.
Hmm. Hmm. That's yeah. It's
And
it's 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 sickening. It's that PTSD.
I totally understand what you're saying. It's the matter of the fact that we're constantly being triggered, and we always have that mindset of war mode, fight mode, and a lot of times we are in a situation where we're like, okay, we have to disassociate our mental norm and readjust for the times that we're in, because we don't have another choice other than to say, hey, this is what I have to do. I got to get this food, and somebody coming in with a gun, but I still got to do this. So I got to make sure that I'm safe. And from what I understand, a lot of people's prayer life has really gotten stronger because she said she was praying and shopping.
Hey, that's basically how it goes. You gotta pray before you go in.
Yeah. And you gotta pray while you're in there. You gotta it's just so much that's happening that's beyond our ability to control. And that factor of the inability to control things is causing us to respond in a way that is definitely affecting the upper echelons bottom line, because we're not shopping, and if we're not shopping, then we're not spending money. If we're not spending money, they're not making money. So it is a matter of the fact that mental health is physical wealth. Regina said there's a new normal weirdness. It's like a scene from the Twilight Zone. Yeah, this like a lot of people thought. that these things were going to be just targeting a particular audience, but that audience has been not just a particular audience, it's been everybody, because no one really understood how we're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we notice that it's not just solved by going online to shop, because a lot of the times, for example, when I was in Chicago, I was visiting family, and there was a shooting on the south side of Racine, 65th or 64th of Racine, and all the bullets ringing out and shoot going every which way. Those bullets don't have a particular destination. And it doesn't matter if you're at home. It doesn't matter if you're shopping or if you're at the mall or if you're at a party. It's everywhere. It seems as if it's not being really well understood that it's not a particular location or particular target audience.
It's
Regina,
definitely, there's definitely no secular to it.
yeah, and it does seem like this is art imitating life as opposed to life imitating art. Like we're taking pages out of Alfred Hitchcock, like Regina said, and it's really a weirdness that is going on. But it's like a lot of people who have the ability to change these things, to improve them, they don't understand and not making the connection as to how this mental health is impacting their wealth.
They're scared.
So if this wasn't happening, do you think that you would have more clients so that you would purchase more products, or is everything still going, normal for you in the barbershop?
And I've just gotten to a point to where I pick my clients. My clients don't pick me. I specifically gear myself towards a specific kind of people.
Wow.
And and if you don't fit that mold, I don't even want you as my client because it's not even worth it.
Wow. Now that's speaking volumes right there. And yes, Regina said that's scary, but you have to be particular like that because, like you said, if you're not picking your clients, you're going to bring some drama into your atmosphere that was avoidable. And it's going to cost more than that haircut is going to cost you.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't necessarily know exactly what's going on with all the barbers, but I have noticed I do have a lot of associates, family, and friends who are barbers. I've seen that there is a bit of a selection there, and even with the hairdressers, there's a selection there, and it's a vetting process. That vetting process was it was it before the pandemic or after the pandemic?
Nah, this was before. Because a lot of the stuff was going on before the pandemic. It just got worse after the pandemic.
Wow. Wow. You would imagine that it would have eased up a bit after the pandemic because everybody's so happy that they're living after the pandemic. What do you think triggered it before the pandemic?
I don't really know about what before the pandemic. What I know after the pandemic is because they got spoiled on all this money that they was passing out, all this free stuff that they were passing out to everybody, and now nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to take it now.
Wow. Wow. All this free money. Where did
Yeah,
this free money come from?
man, look, Trump did it. Trump,
He
Trump
unleashed
did
the people that don't want to work.
it. Yeah. They gave him, hey, all these link cards, they gave him $500 on the link cards, and they gave him so many ways to get some money that they became lazy. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work for it no more.
Wow. That's wow. Regina said you have to set your atmosphere and boundaries that lessen the possibilities of someone else interfering with your safety, your health, your wealth. That is true.
Yeah,
It,
that's life there. That's a life lesson right there.
so you seeing now? From what I understand, the money that was released was not necessarily, it was just filling the gaps. It wasn't necessarily to cover all the bases, like getting haircuts and taking your kids. It's a lot of things that it wasn't really covering. So how is it that that money made them believe that they didn't have to, work?
Well, there were so many different avenues on getting money. You know what I mean? It just wasn't the avenues that everybody knew about. It was all the PP loans and all this other stuff that they were passing out. They were getting the big money.
Oh. Wow. I wish I'd have known about it. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, hey, look, they were running through the hood, and man, you saw all these old schools running the street. You like, man, all these old guys, all segments a bunch of old schools on the street. Like, man, where you think they got that money from?
I don't know. They don't like to share this information.
They got it. They got it off the scamming. That's when scamming hit an all-time high.
Wow. Now I see snatch and grab is at the all-time high that it's ever been before.
Yeah, yeah, and you hear that all over the country. They running like mobs in the stores and just taking everything in the stores. That's all over the country.
Wow. Have
You
you
know?
seen it being sold on the streets of Chicago? Have
You say who?
you seen the snatch and grab merchandise being sold on the streets of Chicago? I totally get it. I lived there when I in my youth, and I have seen some things, and I would ask questions. I would say, "Well, how does this work?" And "Mum" was the word, so
Hey,
don't answer that.
hey, man, I'm a barber. Everything comes through the barber shop.
Everything comes through the barber shop. Everything comes through the beauty store, and the beauty supply store. Okay, you gonna get some discounts.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Hey,
Yes, yes. And that's what we need. Because without this kind of information being validated and it's only coming from one source, me, then it's not really understood. Even though one in business speaks for 10,000, you have to have an understanding that it's not just one person. This person is telling something about a lot of people's testimonials that you will never hear because those people are not going to say anything. "Mom" is the word. Exactly. But a lot of people feel
hey,
like
hey, you know that? Hey, you know that? Don't ask, don't tell.
don't ask, don't tell. Don't tell nobody. Hey, that's how we survive these streets. These young people have no idea. They think they're doing something new and exciting. It's nothing new. It may be a little exciting, but it's only for the moment. It's only for the moment.
And look, I just said today, the internet was one of the greatest and worst inventions ever. It
Yeah,
was. It was
yeah.
the greatest and worst invention ever.
Yeah, it does give while it takes. It does give while it takes. And sometimes that take can be a little deeper than this giving. That is certainly one of the things we've experienced. But without the internet, we would not be able to make these global connections because I don't know if you noticed, but we have a lot of people, for example, on social medias who are connecting and letting their voice be known. For example, there's a viral TikTok that's going on. And it's a lot of people saying things like, "Oh, I work in the medical industry. and I make six figures, but I can't make the ends meet. I'm struggling, and it's messing with their mental well-being.
Mm.
You see a lot of other people who are saying they were teachers and they cannot sustain their mental health and be a teacher.
I'm gonna say this one part here, and I think a lot of people suffer from financial literacy.
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know how to manage the money that they get. That's a real big. You got to know how to manage your money, man, and stop living above your means.
yeah, that is one of the major problems people don't understand. They think that, okay, if I'm making six figures, I can go and get me $1 million house because that $1 million house is in a safer neighborhood and it offers more opportunities to the kids and things of that nature. But the matter of the fact is, you're right. They don't know how to manage that money. And that's where I come in a lot of times to give them money managing ideas and understandings so that they can create that generational wealth. But it is coming to the point now where we cannot wait for them to find us. We have to tell them, look, I know I should be making you pay for this information, but you don't know how to manage your money and you're in a dire situation. Let me see what I can do to help you. And then that help that I provide for you, you'll grow your wealth and come back and ask for more. But yeah, I could give you $1 million today. You'll still be broke 10 minutes later because all that money was spent long before I gave you the money. Now, Will, have you seen that? Now, the people you said that Trump gave everybody some money, and they were counting those dollars before they received it. Is that not right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So by the time they received the money, it was already gone
Yeah, absolutely. It was broke before they even got it.
because they owe somebody, or they said, "Well, let me just get the advance on this, and I'll pay you when I get it. You know it's coming. I give it to you when I get it, and it's gone before they even touch their hands."
Or they spent it on stuff that they didn't need.
Like a TV. There's nothing on television. I heard some people who worked for debt collectors and creditors with the credit card companies and things like that. And they were saying they literally saw that once the money hit the person's account, they went out and purchased a major item like a big screen television. I said, you can see that? They said, yeah, we can see everything.
Yeah, yeah, because the money is a loan. Then you can see where all the money is being spent.
Regina said they made it so easy to get to where no one wanted to work, not realizing that it was not a permanent means. They got caught up just like with welfare. It was easy to get and you didn't have to do anything. But now the government is putting tougher stipulations in getting welfare. Do you think that that's going to be helpful, making the stipulations more difficult for people, or do you think they're going to be more desperate and act in a more desperate way?
I think it's gonna make them more desperate
Why did you say that?
because they don't want to work.
So I guess there's no getting around those people who have been conditioned to not work, but to change their mental awareness, improve them mentally as you are giving them this financial support. Because I agree, statistics do back that, and it does support that. And from what we've seen with the pandemic and the PPI and all the other like welfare, like Regina said, we have seen that giving somebody money is not necessarily the end means of
That's
what
not
to resolve the problem.
that's not helping them. That's just like they told you. In order for you to live, would you rather somebody to give you a fish or teach you how to fish?
Well, a lot of people want you to just give them the fish.
Exactly, and that's not helping them.
They don't understand how that's not helping them. They really feel like not providing the fish is more the problem than anything because we're not really teaching why it is important for anyone to actually go out there and get it for themselves. We're not really doing that because it's not a general understanding of this mental health problem.
And
And
for some reason, a lot of today's you feel entitled.
mm,
They got this entitlement going on. It's like, dude, don't nobody owe you nothing.
and if they feel like you owe it to them and
They're
you
gonna
don't
come
give it
take
to
it.
them, they're gonna come take it. They're gonna come and take it. And that's where we have the major problem, because you can't stop somebody from what they believe is theirs. Even if you're telling them in the moment, this is not, you don't have the right understanding. It's too late in the moment. You have to tell them ahead of time. You have to give them an advanced understanding, and that's not happening on a general scale. It may be happening in isolated incidents, but it needs to happen on a mass scale.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know if we're, seeing that a lot of people are not watching mainstream media, so it's not even possible to reach the large population solely using the mainstream media. Because I know, for one, I don't even watch the mainstream media like that anymore, because I'm tired of them censoring everything that I see, and not showing me what I really need to know. For example, um, when Obama became president, it was quite a while before I even knew, because the mainstream media that I was watching, they were still talking about, oh, it's still a chance that the Republican vote is going to take this, the Republican, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're still in the trenches. No, it was
Look,
over.
look, it's called television for a reason. They tell you your vision
Yeah.
instead of you doing a research and doing everything yourself. Television tells you your vision.
So how do you get your vision?
Hey man, I just keep my ear to the ground and just do my own research about things.
Well, being in
And
the barber shop is make it easier for you to to know more.
man, the barber shop is the highway of information.
Yes, it is. You get the news before we get the news.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think that that's one of the gifts of the internet, which is why I'm really pro the internet, because without us being able to tell our story and tell it the way it is, and not have people to censor it, cut it, or alter it in their whatever way they want to alter it, and broadcast it when they want to broadcast it, we're more in control of letting everyone know what's really going on. And that's vital to making it aware to those people who have the ability to make the changes, to make those changes. We can't make those changes if they're not aware of why those changes are absolutely vital. Yes, and Regina said we have to pray, pray, and pray, because a lot of times we don't understand how to make these moves without losing our own mental health, because we get frustrated, we get upset, we get angry, we get raged about all the things we're experiencing, and we don't even realize that that's happening.
Hmm.
And some people, they don't understand how prayer works and why it works. So I'm gonna touch on Regina's point about prayer. A lot of times, that prayer has been in a lot of studies where the people are showing that the statistics are turning more towards a realistic view of what prayer is doing. Prayer is actually helping people's mental health, for them to think it so that they can believe it mentally and physically produce what it is they believe they could accomplish, or to help improve or change. Eddie says the problem is not that Americans don't think empirically. Americans don't ask requisite questions or test the theories and lunacy they see. A lot of people don't think of it as lunacy. A lot of people really they look at it as you do you, I'm gonna do me. I know you've heard that, Will.
Mm-hmm.
You do you, I'm gonna do me. Let's agree to disagree.
Mind your business and I'm a mind mine.
Yes, and I don't think that mentality is helping a whole lot of people. But
No,
a
it's
lot of times, what we are seeing is that it is causing a lot of people to have a more desperate mentality, desperate behaviors. They're acting spontaneously, whereas some people would not do the things that they are doing. They feel compelled to do so because of the times and situations they're in.
a lot of people don't know God. They don't know how to talk to God. They don't understand who God is.
That's true. And Eddie said prayer is a form of empirical thought. Prayer allows you to focus on the problem so you can give it to God for a solution and an understanding. And I totally understand. A lot of people they don't know how that prayer life has changed the world and it's advanced the world. For example, there was a man who created infinity, and people were like, "Well, how did you, some humble nobody, you live in the dirt somewhere in a dirt house?" In a developing country, and here you are creating infinity. How did you know how to create infinity? We can't even count that high, but here you are counting all the way to infinity. And he said his prayer life, he informed people of his prayer life, and he stated he performed as God gave him utterance.
Mhm.
Imagine that. They say prayer don't work, but prayer definitely works. I see you on the edging part, so that's the critical part of the haircut. So I'm not gonna have you talk too much, but a lot of times we're not emphasizing that, so people don't see it, and when people don't see it, it's really messing up their mental health. So that's why on my show I did state how the man who knew infinity stated that it was a part of his spiritual walk. A lot of the times we don't know, how people are really able to advance the world. We don't understand how they're able to advance the industry. And a lot of times, because we don't know, we don't know how to get those improvements through to the upper echelon in order for them to implement those changes. But a lot of times it comes because somebody is in dire need and they don't have another avenue to get the help that they need. So they pray. They just pray. What more can you do but to pray? And a lot of people, they say, well, you don't know who I'm praying to. I don't care what people say. There's different prayers and there's different people. And those different prayers and different people are you know are vital to understanding the diversity in the perspectives. The diversity in the perspectives is necessary for everybody to understand that you don't have to pray to just one particular prayer and one particular problem in one particular institution of faith. God is omniscient. He's everywhere. Prayer transforms your thinking. Regina said, prayer transforms your thinking by renewing your mind. You become aware of what is truth, not logical, but what is truth. And I have to agree with Regina. That speaks a great deal to formal logic. We try to structure things and set up all these systems in order to gear everything according to the way we want it to go. But at the root of all things, now I'm not telling anything that hasn't been told for centuries. If we just pick up some books and start reading, there were some philosophers who already understood that, fundamentally, we have this thing called formal logic. It is nothing to do with a grammar. It's nothing to do with the barriers that separate us, the things that keep us apart. Those things were created there for a reason, and that reason was obstruction. Obstruction of the progress that we really are looking for and looking forward to having. But a lot of times we're not understanding that, we need to focus our mind. We need to transform our minds. And Maslow, who created the hierarchy of the popular hierarchy of human needs chart, he showed a way to transcend from our basic needs all the way up to our transformed minds. I'm gonna see.
Hello?
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me? So Eddie said,
Yeah, I had a call coming in. My bad.
okay. Eddie said, Regina, the U.S. only started to care about welfare after the Civil War in 1865. There was no such thing as an income tax or welfare until blacks were no longer free labor. Well, Lord knows we can all use some free help.
Ain't that the truth?
But they found a way to make sure that it's paid. And even though it sounds like it's free, like military, they say, oh, freedom is free. They found a way to make sure you understand it's not free. Eddie said FDR created welfare to address white people as they started to kill themselves and others. That's a good point about the same race crime. They always talk about black on black crime, but we don't really talk about white on white crime. Because if you think about it, a lot of areas where a lot of people that were white were losing their lives, they were not in a place where they can have any contact with anybody black, coming into their area causing any problems. So we do need to understand that the problem um, of trying to fix the income and using welfare in order to do that was not exclusive to a particular color of people. It was something that was set out there for white and black. It was a class of people that they were targeting to provide this support for. It was not for the masses, and it was not for just black people. The
Hmm.
mental problem is beyond just black and white. So I understand how a lot of people would like to focus on barriers that divide us, but we really need to focus more on having a broader understanding and a bigger picture so we can see that it is not what they want us to see, but what we need to believe. And the fact of the matter is, we have to understand that we believe that holistically, we need to fix ourselves first mentally, spiritually, and then naturally, because all of that will produce itself in a manner that makes it financially beneficial for people who are making the decisions to make these products available, who's making this snatch and grab thing a whole thing, as opposed to making it easier for us to get along, easier for us to work, easier for us to say, okay, I'm not in a dire situation where I feel like I'm entitled to just take it if it's not given to me. Eddie says in 1935, to combat the Great Depression, welfare was established. It wasn't until blacks were using it that they said, get back to work. Well, when you're taking taxes, that tax money going somewhere, isn't it? Regina says, look at all the true history of Africans and Africa that was distorted and removed. Yeah, a lot of things people just don't want to tell for various reasons, because Africa has a great deal of wealth in its own continent, and then you take that wealth and you try to spread it around, and you picking and choosing who you're going to give that wealth to. but that wealth is still going to spill over into those places that you didn't target for all that wealth to go into. And that mentality that we are perpetuating, it has shown that the global economy, it has shown us that it has contributed to the global economy failing. It's not. It may not be the most reason or the most prominent reason for the economy failing, but it is certainly a major contribution to the mental health and welfare of the people who we are depending upon to produce in the workforce. A lot of people, they don't tell what they do. A lot of people don't want everybody to know what they do because they don't want to do it for everybody. Like Will said, he has a select audience that he advertises to or even accepts. And I've seen that in more places than just the elite. The elite have that ability where they feel like they can pick and choose who they want to work with. But you can see Will here, Will the barber. He's just Will the barber. You know, he's doing what he does every day, and he's still choosing who he's going to work with. He still chooses his clients. And it's not just Will, it's many people out there just like Will who are doing that. And it's not about, now I'm sure he cares about the money, but it's not just about the money, because when you equate your safety, your health, your well-being, even though people may not say that they understand how this is affecting their mental health, they understand that it is affecting their mental health, even if they don't vocalize it, even if they don't have the words to express to us who have the ability to help them in those needs. Even if they can't express that, they're still showing us, they're telling us. And the people who have the ability to make the changes that the people really want to see, they're tapping into the wrong things. You're tapping into social media that is censored, as opposed to just boots on the ground. You got to be boots on the ground. You got to see these things for yourself. Like when you see these various presidents take office and they're going boots on the ground into these different countries and seeing all these wars and everything that's going on with them, they have to be boots on the ground. And a lot of times we get upset because they're not boots on the ground until it's election time. And actually being connected with the people's problems and the people's real issues, like student loans and, oh, the rent is too darn high, like the man said. But what did Eddie say? That's why Dr. King created the Poor People's Campaign in 1967 before they killed him, to declare that America can give all Americans a living wage because it's the most wealthy country in the world. History and slavery proved Dr. King's point. Well, you have a good point, but a lot of people, they don't feel like they should pay for everybody to have a livable wage. So there's still some conflict there. And it's like those trigger words trigger people to say, no, because they'll categorize it. And they'll say, no, you're a fascist. No, you're an elitist. No, you're a neo. So we have to be careful in the way we phrase the words and the ask, because what we're really saying is, in order for us to have mental well-being, you have to stop taking everything as if we did not earn anything. Okay, what did you say, Eddie? If you remove the worry of starvation and homelessness, you increase the ability to focus on innovation. History shows that this but we are locked in foolery. Yeah, well, foolery is sort of entertaining to these people, so that's the money that they're looking at, entertainment. What did you say? Okay, I said good show. Thank you. What did you say here? What people feel that way? Well, what people feel that way? The people that's making the changes, the people that we're depending on to implement the changes and the desires that we really want to see. But the conditioning feel the way. yeah, there people are conditioned the way they are because people would like to keep things in classes and keep different section of classes. So there's the blue collars. We'll get an episode that talks more about that. The blue collars, purple collars, white collars, etc. So we'll get into that later in another episode. The very next episode, I'll do what the classes are and what the collars are. The people we elect and keep in power. Yeah, and they all have collars too, and a lot of those collars have restraints. But that's been my show. Thanks, Will. I appreciate you. I saw you were busy, but I appreciate you taking the time for me. um, and that's been my show for today. Please make sure that you come again on the next episode. Remember, mental health is physical wealth.